pulling a wire from the solar deck junction box all the way into my attic, through my closet, and then out to my EG4 hybrid inverter. Today I'm showing you how we're doing that. I had Fannis and James mount the solar panels on the roof. Go check out that video. I'll put the link in the description. You guys ready?
Let's go. Let's do it.
You're watching Taddy Digest. I'm Tad. Let's get started. Had to take the panel up to get to the solar junction box. It's right there. Here's the inverter, and we took out the 3/4 knockout. We also drilled a hole right behind the inverter so that we can run the conduit straight into this knockout right here to connect to this knockout right in the back, just to make it look nice and clean. This is the fitting that we're going to use. 3/4 conduit fitting. Here's the hammer drill that I used right here with a 1-inch bit. And then we've also got a hole saw. We used, I think, the 1-inch hole saw. And this is the spotter bit that I used. 1-inch spotter bit. Okay. Now, did use a spotter bit for the masonry, right? Okay, to go through the brick. So I used a smaller bit, and then I used the larger one. And of course, we couldn't use that 1-inch to go through this hole. We had to drill it from the back side. Up in the attic right now, James just gave me this green ground wire. This is the number 8 wire we're going to use to run from that junction box to the inverter. And he just drilled a hole, and now he's got the green wire attached to the conduit, which I'm going to pull so we can pull that conduit up here. Let me show you. All right, so you can see I am pulling this green wire that's attached to the conduit. I got it. Take the tape off so you can pull the green wire back? Okay, and then there's the hole. Now I've got the wire pulled over to where it's going to go through into the junction box, but I need a connector. Got to have the connector. So let's get the connector, put it on, and then stick it up here. Look who decided to show up. My Fannis. Looky what I got. Are you trying to stand up?
You can stand up.
You can. So what we got? We got the connector now.
Yeah, Leslie on the roof.
Leslie's on the roof?
Yeah, waiting to grab that.
Leslie! Yeah. Smile. On there.
Yes.
There you go. You sweating.
I'm doing something.
You're doing something, man.
There we go.
Tighten it up, Big Daddy. You can do it.
And Tad, you don't have the strap.
Oh no, I didn't bring the strap with me. I need to bring the straps.
No, the tap con. We need to.
Oh yeah, I've got the tap cons. I'll get those.
Where's that?
I'll go get them.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep the. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we can do 2 things here.
All right.
As we strap it, we can trap it in here. So if you're gonna utilize this area and a feature, we can trap it in here instead. So get it off the
ground. Yeah. I like the.
So yeah, we're gonna do it this way. We need 3 straps.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Boom.
3 straps.
Yes.
3 screws. Let's
Yes.
go. Pulling the slack.
Of the yes, we're doing putting the excess of the flex, so we can call it at the length.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that looks good.
Perfect, Tad, perfect.
If you got a bandsaw, use a bandsaw. I had a hacksaw with a metal blade, so ka-chow! We got the conduit in place. You can see the lock nut on the fitting. Now we're putting the PV wire through that conduit, and then once we get it on the other side, we're going to tie on wires that we're going to be using to tie into our PV wires up here and then go to the inverter. It would be pretty hard to try to pull all 3 wires through that conduit. It's about 20 feet. And if we had a fish tape, which I've got a fish tape, but it's at my shop, then that would be the way to go as far as pulling wire. If you don't know how to use a fish tape, I'll put a link to that video. We're using the black, a red, and a green, right? This is PV wire number 10. Has he got it?
Yes, he got it.
Awesome. So we had to take this panel out to get to this junction box.
Pull it down.
So he's got the wire down there. We're going to put the whole bundle together and feed them down. And James, it looks like you're pulling 2 reds, 2 blacks, and a green. Because we got 2 strings. Oh yeah,
yes,
we got
exactly.
2 strings. So we're pulling those 2 strings, the PV wires down to the inverter. We don't just have 1 string. Because I remember we did 5 panels in series, and that creates 2 strings, right? These 5 in series, these 5 in series. The reason we did that is because it'll be easier to add more panels.
Exactly.
Awesome. Here you go.
Supposed to hold that for him. He's need help.
We got the supervisor up here. Uh-oh.
If we put everything at the same length together, so it will be harder to pull. So now we're staggering them.
Oh, staggering the wires. Got it.
So it
Smart.
can be able easy, to feed into that conduit.
Got it. All right, so wire is going in.
Pull. That's gonna be tough. I'm almost out of green.
Is that good, Fannis? You got it? Oh, goodness. That's good because we're running out of green wire here. That was impressive. So we got the wire we need pulled, and we're going to tie it in. Red, red, black, black, and then ground. What's that for?
So now we have to identify, since we got 2 strings, we have to identify them. So we know, which set that goes together. So right here, we got 1 set of positive and negative. So we have to do the same thing. I already mark it in the bottom. So we know we can match the color together.
So you're not swapping up the strings.
Exactly.
Got it.
That would be an issue if we
Okay.
do that. The system will not be working if we let that happen. So
Got it,
that will
okay.
take us time to do testing. To do continuity, and then so we know which one goes.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. Continuity test.
By code, we have to at least put the first strap to 18 inches. So
Got it.
that's perfect right here. I can do that.
Yes.
This right
Go.
here. Okay, go ahead. Perfect. Is it that this is kind of straight or that?
Yeah, that's good.
Good? Okay.
All right, let's go. Here's the conduit. Here's the other end of the wire going into the back of the inverter. So we'll put this connector on it. Got the conduit ready to put the conduit, the straight conduit fitting on. Sometimes it's easier if the wires are tangled up to take them all out one by one and then put them back into the conduit fitting. That's what James is doing right now. And if we were using THHN number 10 wire instead of this PV wire, then we would be able to fit more wires in here, and it would be easier to pull. And it would also be easier to put these conduit fittings on, but with the PV wire, it is definitely a little bit rougher. And you don't have to use PV wire. It's just I had PV wire, so that's the reason I used it, but you don't have to. You can use THHN, right, James?
Yes.
How many wires have you put inside of a 3/4 conduit?
I think we went to go up to 6.
Six?
Number 10 THN, and then I'm inside, you know, a number 8 green, which
Okay.
that's what we're using now.
Why are we using a number 8 instead of a number 10?
It just it gives you a better grounding.
Okay.
So bigger size wire.
All right, you need to pull this backwards so that we can get it behind the box.
Yes.
Okay. James is pulling all the wires into the cabinet where we can hook up, and you can see where that fitting is right there. This flexible metal conduit is much easier to work with than the hard. Excellent.
Let me see. We're gonna try to ground the flex also.
So we've got a grounding bushing right here, and this is to actually ground the conduit. So we're taking the little lock nut here, and then if we got enough room, we're going to put this on as well. If we don't, we'll put it up on the end that goes to the solar deck. Now we're putting on the grounding bushing. Perfect. James has marked the 2 wires, so this is for one string, and then these 2 wires go to the other string. So now we can land those wires. You never want to land them at the solar unless you've got the panel, the home run, unplugged, and we can land them here first. What are you doing now, Fannis?
So I'm trying to put that wire, give you some support here.
Oh, okay.
And make sure we come out as straight as we can.
Oh, is that why you got the level?
Oh yes, that's why we have. Actually, I have 2.
Oh, you use 2 levels.
Yes.
You make sure it's double level.
Yes, to make sure everything is straight.
That's how you do it.
Yes. Got it.
Fannis has got the level on the conduit and the wire, making it look amazing. Look at that. And then we used anchors because of course it's in drywall. Look at that. Look how beautiful the team made that look. Beautiful. And that right there will go inside the ground lug. Landing the ground wire where it says PE, that terminal block is known as potential earth. So I got the ground wire connected, and if you want to connect these wires, what you do is you take your flathead screwdriver, you push it in, and then when you push it in, see that open up? Watch. Watch. Whoop. See it open up? Stick your wire in there, you take the screwdriver out. Now we're going to land the other 2 wires. We've got the first 2 wires on 1 plus, 1 minus, and then we're going to land these wires on 2 plus and 2 minus. So red wire on the plus, and then black wire on the 2 minus terminal. I love these. Everything's tight?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now James is stripping the wires, and he's going to land those 4 wires, and he's going to land the ground. So what are we looking at, Fannis?
We're looking at the the open circuit voltage.
Open circuit voltage for
That's been
this.
41.
The VOC is 41.32.
And then we're looking at the
5 times 40, that's 200 volts per string. And then what else are we looking at?
We're looking at the other one, says 34, right?
It says voltage at P max. Voltage measurement tolerant.
34.
Oh, okay. So voltage at power maximum, VMP. 34.
Yeah, that's
34.
just the one we're going to use to multiply by 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 5 times 30 would be 180.
Close to 200.
So close to 200, yeah. How do we size the breaker for this string? We look at the current, the IMP, right? And that is 13.13. And we take that 13.13 times the safety factor, which is 1.56, and that gives us somewhere over about just over 20 amps. So that means we would go to the next size up, 25 amps for our breaker. For a PV disconnect, if we had to do a PV disconnect. Now we're running it straight into the EG4 inverter, and then we have a disconnect on that inverter, which I'll show you. We got them all tight. We got them. Not another Taddy test. Watch out. Bzz. Good deal. We got the wires landed in the solar deck junction box. Ready to put the cover on, slap that panel back down. We're gonna do some testing though, it looks like. Checking volts DC. We got the one string that's complete. Take a look, 159 volts. Now this is this string right here. This other string is not going to do anything because it's not complete, because these panels, 34 times 5 is 170 volts.
At 150, that's perfect.
So if I've got, if I check the string again, and we check it's 160.
Perfect.
159.60. Yeah. We should expect 170 volts. It's producing 159, 160. We can't measure the other string because that panel's not connected, but I can measure it downstairs. But when you look at the voltage that the panel's rated for and the voltage that we're getting when we test, it lines up. So very good. Right here. Boop. And right here. And that'll complete this string. Beautiful. 2 different types of clamps. We got one clamp that is for holding the wire to the panel, and then we've got one clamp that's used for holding the wire to the rail. So this is the one for the rail. So we just clip this on here like this, and this is stainless steel, so UV protected. Of course, it's not going to be destroyed by the sun. If it's a zip tie, it would be. No PV wires touching the roof per code. So we are using these clamps to make sure that we are code compliant. Also using that conduit that's metal, PVC on the outside or plastic on the outside, to make sure that we're code compliant as well. You cannot put PV wire in plastic conduit. It has to be in metal. So we're using that flexible metal conduit. Sneaking up on me, aren't you, Fannis?
No, I'm just
putting out some great stuff?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man, awesome. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
You got the 7/16 socket, tightening down these bolts, and they've got a sleeve right here. That's the last panel in place. It looks good. So why do we not want the wires on the roof, Fannis?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, we don't want to. I mean, wire management, it looks like it's small thing, but it's huge as far as solar system.
Okay.
So with them lay on the floor, and then if we got leaf around, and then they can come and get on that wire, and then a squirrel can make a little nest on that, and then they can chew on that wire and then disable your solar system. You don't want that.
Would that disable the squirrel?
More likely not.
Now we're going to turn on the disconnect for the PV for the inverter right here. And I don't have the battery on. You can see that right here. It's off. But now it's lighting up. And once it lights up, we'll be able to see the solar be displayed, and I've also got an app. Look at that. If you can see that, 153 on one string, 153 on the other string. Let's use our meter and let's check. Now I'm going to measure each string. So we're going to take our meter, put it on volts DC. I've got the micro leads, which are much longer. Let's go ahead and go to +1, -1. What do we got? 153.3. Let's go to the next one. 153.3. And then our inverter says 152.9. It's changing, but that's great. I love this readout that EG4 has on their inverter. Super awesome. I love the fact that I've got a Bluetooth app. If you want to see me hook up the load terminals, the grid terminals to my home's panel and the meter, the grid, stay tuned. I've got that video coming. So Fannis, James, and Wesley came from Tampa, Florida, down to Tennessee. We're in Nashville, and right now they're about to go back to Tampa, Florida. And they came down here, they installed my solar panels on my roof, and you'll see that video. If you haven't already seen it, go check it out. And I agreed to basically barter with them and teach them how to work on mini splits. So it's been about a week, about 3 or 4 days actually, training them how to charge mini splits, how to take them apart, work on them. After this week of training, let me know. What do you guys think? Did you learn anything?
Yes, sir. Taddy Josh, look, we have no words to describe what you learned from you. So we would have to invent no words to describe, to thank you for all the knowledge you're going to bring back down to Florida.
That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
man. That's awesome. That was amazing.
That's good.
Thank you. This is the man. This is the man.
Very cool. These are my amigos now.